Afternoon. I'm not sure who's here with me. Get higher so we can see better. I'm rusty. I haven't been on in a while. Just 2 p.m. my time, 1 p.m. your time, if you're in Ontario. So welcome everyone. We're going to get caught up in our layouts for our calendar. And I see Simple Stories came out with the new one for this year. So that looks promising. So I've already done my stamping for both August and September. September's going to be fun because it's the blue color. So just like in past videos, I'm going to put this one aside. And usually I go through and tell everybody what these videos are about if it's your first time. So let me just do a brief summary of that. So this is the Simple Stories for the Record do-it-yourself calendar. And you could buy a paper kit that was separate to go along with the calendar if you wanted to. Hi, Michelle. So last year I made the commitment to purchase the kit and do monthly lives for the entire year with you folks, so that if you wanted to give it as a gift or keep it for yourself, you certainly can or could. So each month there's a calendar. And if you bought the For the Record kit, it came with a couple sticker sheets. The calendar itself had a small number stickers that you could put on the calendar. I went ahead and stamped for 2025 the dates. And then there's opportunity for a one-page layout. Hi, Linda. Happy Sunday to you. So each month it's kind of in this format. And there's a video for every month. Now today we're going to do 2 months, August and September, because I am behind. So we'll do that. But if you're new to this, you can go back and view any of the past videos for the previous month, see the layout. It's just very difficult to show. Here, let me see if we can. So I already showed you January's. This was February's. Sometimes there's spots for 2 pictures. Sometimes I only put 1. And it's kind of, we just fly from the seat of our pants when we do this. I don't have a plan in mind. I just kind of look at the papers and look at the embellishments that come along with the month. And then we go from there. And I explained in the very first video, there was a video called Prepping, where we did some cutting and some decision making on how we were going to run each month. So you can go back to that. And of course, you can use the same designs for your new calendar if you want. Or you can use the designs that are suggested with the album or with the calendar when you get it. So that was April. May's was a pretty salmony color. And you'll see when we create where there's a picture, I make sure that I don't stick it down so that the recipient can slide their picture in nicely. I'll talk about the background black pieces that I chose to start with. You don't have to. You can build right on the page. But I found that the page was a little bit thin. So part of my preparation for the entire year is I cut out these 10 by 10 black cardstock bases. stitched around them, and that's how I create our pages. June, and then that was July. So we actually have opportunity for three 3x4 photos. And July. So now we're on August. And August is a nice mint green paper. So I'm going to put my album, or I keep wanting to call it an album, my calendar aside and bring here our supplies for August. So this is my black background that I start with. And I chose this piece of paper to do August with. It has the orange flowers on one side, and then this is just like a counting sheet on this side. So I'm going to use this side. And then I have my little packet for August. So when you go back to the prepping for the calendars, you'll see that there's also specific embellishments that go along with each month. So we organize those according to the month and put them in these little packages. So each month we just grab which package goes with it. These other bags that I have here, it's stuff that was left over that we can pick from to utilize with any of the months. So it's just kind of a little bit of leftovers. And sometimes I use everything that I have, and sometimes I don't. So we have August. We have a couple of hearts. Good vibes only. Oh, I like this little minivan. Like that. There's a watermelon. There's a banner. I love the banners. Banner. We have a yellow stripe or a yellow scallop edge, and we have one of these scallop edges in each monthly kit. A couple of little flowers. Now, some of these smaller things, if I don't use them on the layout, I'll incorporate them on the calendar page for the month. This little embellishment with the month, and again, I like these because you can circle if there's anything special happening in the month. So I like those. And then we have, oh, another flower. And then we have kind of a recipe size card for August and an area to do some documenting. And each month there's one of these as well. I usually tend to use the back side. And then you can kind of use whatever you want. So the first thing I'm going to do is see how I laid my first sheet down on the previous month, just because I don't want to do it the same way. Not that that would be terrible, but I do like to change it up. Okay, I think we're safe. Because I was thinking I was just going to go right across the page just to start with this one. And I'm going to get my pencil. How's everybody doing today? It's really nice out today. You can definitely see or feel that fall is coming. I'm a big gardener in the summer, so that's been happening, like flower garden. I do have done a little bit of vegetables, but not tremendous amount. I don't seem to be able to grow vegetables successfully. I do okay with herbs, and I do okay with flowers. That's usually what's keeping me busy during the summer, because we are in the house for many months of the year. So during the summer, I like to enjoy it. I did cut a white base for a 5x7 photo this time. I was looking back on my calendar and I've never had a 5x7 photo. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do a 5x7 photo on this one. And the one tip is when you're creating from bits and pieces like this, where it's kind of organized for you because we packaged up the months in our planning video, so you know what you have to work with. So if you don't have a design that you can copy off of or follow, it's okay because you're limited to what you can use, which I really like. I did not ink any edges in mine, but you feel free to do whatever you would like in yours. So I'm going to stick this down, and I'm not going to put any adhesive around the edges in case we want to tuck things. Like I said, it's if you like it, you place it. You don't overthink it. Now we have this, but we also have this banner, which I really like. So I think for the banner, because I don't want to glue it down, I have to be very careful where I put, so I can put 2 little pop dots on either side. So is anybody creating with me? Do you have the kit? Or are you on just for something to do? You know I like it when you chat with me. It's awful lonely when you're talking to yourself. So I'm just going to take 2 of these pop dots. And I'll place a couple of more, and the person that gets this, I'll let them know that they can pull off the release paper once they get their photo down, but it'll just help keep it popped up so that it doesn't sag in the center. There. And I don't pop up too much because the album is going to, like, you know, you don't want it so thick. There I go again, calling it an album. The calendar, you don't want it so thick that it's going to be difficult for them to hang on the wall. I like that. And I do really like including these for the simple reason you can circle things. So again, I'm going to pop this down here. And I know I can put pop dots in this area. And probably one up here. And then that should be good. So let's get that one done. So what's everybody up to? I see six of you are on, which is fabulous. It's a quiet Sunday for us here. My husband's he just went outside. He was going to hang some photos for me, actually. But I said, I got to dash. The people are waiting. I'm getting back in the drive of creating, that's for sure. I've been creating all day, and I can't wait to share with you some cute cards that are coming using All in Create items. And I'm hoping to have those finished, the sample one finished by this evening. And I'll post that class. And how lucky is it that all these classes are free at Younique? I really love this little wagon, but I don't want it kind of floating on air, so maybe that's where I'll put the scallopy thing down. And I use all kinds of different adhesive. I use pop dots. I use glue. It's a beautiful day in Ontario, Linda. That's great. Yeah, we're certainly going to get those days. I haven't posted a lot on my business or Attic Inspire page, but I've certainly been posting on my personal page, those of you that are friends with me over there, and feel free to send me a friend's message if you would like. All my gardening shenanigans. Well, hello, Jennifer. How are you? Good afternoon. Boy, I've been having fun with all the lives Heather and Betty has been doing with Dan as the commentary in the background. They are working very, very hard. And they got a lot of spirit in them. But as we enter the fall, what kind of things are you looking forward to? My best friend is coming to visit me. She lives in New Brunswick. She's coming to spend Thanksgiving with us, and I am so excited. We haven't seen each other in over a year, and it's not that she's that far away. It like she's like 5.5 hours drive, so it's not crazy. But we both work full time, so it's like a time factor. And when I'm off, she's working. When she's working, I could be off, so it makes it a little hard. I like this orange, and I'd like to tuck in a little sliver of the orange. And we have all kinds of extra pieces too. So I have the August there, and then we have another August here that we could put. So maybe what I'll do for this one is, because again, I don't want to put it all the way down, I'm going to use the skinny, I think it's 1/8 of an inch sequin or score tape. And again, I'll let the person know when after they laid their picture down, they can release all of the tape. But for now, I'm just going to put a piece of it down right here. So that way they can put it down and then put the August over. So looking good already. My gosh, sometimes these go really fast, and sometimes it can take me an hour to decide where to put things. Good vibes only. I think that deserves to be down here. There. These little flowers and hearts, I love putting them on the calendar part because they're tiny. So I think I'm going to save those. The watermelon's fun. I really like all the different elements that came with the August. Sometimes I don't use very many of them. Good vibes only. Don't want the watermelon there. We have it popped up under here. Anybody on have the calendar? I know some of you have. Sorry, I'm not right in frame. There you go. And the person can do some documenting right on here. So I'm not worried about adding a specific spot for documenting. I'm having a hard time with my fingers. I was in an accident this summer, and my left hand was affected on the hand part, but that along with just increasing arthritis in my thumbs and my fingers has been making it a little bit challenging. But I'm doing well, so not complaining at all. And I do like, although there's orange there, so we're good there. Will be a winter project for you. Oh, thank you, Linda. You like watching the building process? Yep. So you can go back. Now, I'm not sure if, with everything going on at Younique, I'm not sure if they've been posting the videos to their YouTube channel, but I upload the videos that I do for Younique onto my YouTube channel. And you can find that under Attic, ATTIC, Inspired Crafter. That's my YouTube channel name. And so you can find all the past videos there. So I do that. I make sure that I do that because I know Facebook had a thing where they were claiming they were going to be deleting videos after a brief period of time. I'm not sure if I need anything else on this page, but I'm going to just look through some of the what's been left over from previous. Then there's like a package with tags. I'm just going to put these in here for now because what I'm going to do, well, actually, I'll leave them out. I'll put them right on my calendar. At the very end, when we're all done, then I can go back and look at the scraps and maybe add some different ones to the calendar part. Life is okay. I don't feel like I need a big tag because I used pretty much all the embellishments that came with the August one. That was very fun. Oh, but you know what? I like cutting the ends off of. Here's a little bit of orange. I like cutting the tab parts off of these and tucking them in. And then you could use these as photo mats if you wanted to. I like that. So let me tuck that one in. I have so many ideas for winter projects. So I might combine October and November and December's class all in one for the calendar, because once September hits, everybody, or at least I do, I start thinking about Christmas. I know some of you are way ahead of the game and already started on your Christmas cards. I have not. Definitely October, November is Christmas. So I might group October, November, and December layout page kit in one afternoon. What do you think about that? You can kind of still watch it at your own rate, but I just feel like I want to kind of get the calendar wrapped up so that I can move on to Christmas. There's all kinds of things. Focus on the good. Good vibes only, special delivery. So we have a few little titles there. Hi, Charlene. Yes, I am moving in the right direction, that's for sure. That is for sure. Thank you for that. Looking at what little pieces that we might have in here that we might utilize. I have a flag, so I don't want to add another banner. It's cute camera one. Yeah, so like there's a lot of pieces that we'll be able to go back and I may be able to add on the calendar part. Here's the firework. I think that must have been from the July kit. I kind of like it there though. Pop that up. How are you doing, Charlene? Oh, I can't believe I don't have a pair of scissors out here. I have more scissors, and I don't know what you guys are like, But every time Lucy Heather has her lives and they have more scissors to offer, I'm the first one with my hand up. Because really, I know they say, you know, coat it, the adhesive doesn't stick on them, but they do. And then I clean them with glue, with Goo Gone or something like that, and they just never seem to function right for me after that. So I have a few pairs of scissors that I just really need to ditch, but I keep saying, oh, I'm gonna save those ones for adhesive, and I don't. I use whatever I have in my hand. That's good, Charlene. We'll pop this little firecracker up there. I think this is going to be it for my August. I'm really happy with that. Opportunity for the 5x7. So if you're joining a little bit late, I put the double-sided adhesive on the back, but only stuck down a portion of it. So whoever gets this, I'll let them know once they lay their picture down, they can pull off the tape and adhere it. Same as here. I put pop dots behind this part just to kind of stabilize it so it didn't sink. But the picture can go up underneath, and same as here. So lots of opportunity for photos. Well, one big one, or they could do 4x6, or they could do two 3x4s, whatever can fit in there. Aw, that's sweet. Well, you know what? I'm glad you said that because my phone just went off as 2:30. Your live is going to start, and I checked it this morning, and the event had it going for 2. So I don't know if I made a boo-boo one your time and posted the wrong time, but set my live up for something different. So I am so sorry if I did that, but that's what's nice about the video, the recording. You can go back and watch, but I might have made that boo-boo. And I'm so glad you're on too. There's so many new people coming on for the auctions and the what's new that it is so fun. And just so that you guys know, I have a very my personality is I never take anything seriously. Like when I have to, of course, I'm serious. But around crafting and, this time with you guys, it's just fun. So I joke around a lot and sometimes I say things that might be a little colorful. So just know that it's always done with humor. Because sometimes I get on those lives and I post a comment and I'm like, oh, you probably shouldn't have done that. People don't know you, but yeah, I have my dad's sense of humor. That's for sure. So if I can ever do anything to make this better, please let me know. Very open to feedback. And I want to hear from you guys too as to what, I'm going to save that one. I like that one. What you are looking for in classes coming up. My thought has been, because I know so many people are enjoying the auctions and the buy it while it's new, that a lot of things that I've been buying over the summer, I'm going to start developing classes with, like, just there will be no kits or anything like that because the store isn't set up for that, but I'm going to try to post in advance a picture, a sample of the project, and what supplies I use so that if you are interested, then you can grab some of those supplies and play along with me or use what you already have and just use the same concepts to create with what you have already. So that's kind of my thought. I would love to do albums, but they scare me a little bit on doing an album on live because I'm very slow and often I make mistakes, so I don't want to frustrate anybody. But the albums that I think I may tackle on a live are those ones by Uniquely Creative. I purchased a couple the last live Heather did, I think, where they're already made and they unfold. So I might tackle one of those. Now, for something like that, I wouldn't be able to post a sample because I'd only have the one, so I'd have to create with you. I'm going to put that one aside and grab my September page. But yeah, if there's anything in particular you're interested in for classes or techniques or whatever, just put a shout out there to the team. So this is September, and it is the main page is very navy, and it's back to school, so I chose the numbers. There are some of this print on the other side, but I really, really like the numbers. And I don't want to put it down in the center again because we just did that. But I'm going to cut off the banner and see where that takes us. And then we'll have a look, see what came in our September package, because I haven't looked at this stuff neither since we did it together. Now I have a photo mat here that is a 4x5 and one that's 4.5 by 5.5. So we'll see which one I decide to use. You've previously mentioned if we had a question to shoot them your way. Yeah, I'd love to hear how you approach using Designer Series package 12x12 papers with sticker sheet. I struggle on how to approach that getting started. I gotta see more. I also love using up everything in one shot. Me too. That is such a struggle for me because Charlene, I'm right there with you. It is because I'm not one to, if I don't use it all up, you can forget it. It's going to be shoved away somewhere and I'm going to either throw it out or give it away, which probably giving it away is better, but I usually end up throwing it out because it just gets in my way. So this is how I approach it. I first do an album. So whether you're creating an album from scratch, like, you're creating the actual album, or you pick up an album from Simple Stories, or whatever other brands that are out there, I'll do an album. And then what I have left over, I'll use the 12x12 pieces to make envelopes. So and I shouldn't say 12x12, but that seems to be the most reasonable to get. I have an envelope scoreboard, and so I'll take the pieces that are big enough to make a standard card envelope, like a 4.5, 4.25, or 4.5 by 5.5, something like that. And I think it's an 8.25 by an 8.25 piece that you need. So I'll cut all those. So if I have 10 envelopes, then I know I'm going to make 10 cards. So then I'll make my cards. And usually by the time I'm done that, there's not a whole lot left over. Or at least not a whole lot that if I toss it, I'm okay with it. But if you're into junk journaling or journaling in general, then you could save those odds and ends pieces, put them in a pouch. This is what I store my cards in. And you could label it as to which collection it belonged to, and then that's much easier to store, to grab if you're doing just like a journal page, than what it is if you have a whole bunch of stuff left. So that is my process. And I have some large collections here. I do have Vicki Boutin's Christmas line, and my friend and I will get together. We purchased her, not the Christmas line, sorry, not the Christmas line. I didn't get that one. The one that was previous. Her first one was 49 Market, but she released, you could buy it all from her and do the class event or just purchase the class event. So that's what my friend and I did, and we'll get together and we'll do that. But I have several 49 a Market kits, but I also have their albums, so I'll create their albums and then just work from it like that. But yeah, I'm very much like that. Once I open a kit, I have to use it. Linda, love the layouts for creating pages for family or travel albums. Always looking for incentives. Very good. I'll keep that in mind. I do have, I definitely have like generic lines that could go for anything. So family album for sure. And I think I have a couple of travel lines. So we always have the big month. The daily grind. I love these little paper clips. Love the pencils. I can see I'll be using a lot of these ones too. And I'm just putting them up to the top. So there's like 3 pencils, little stack of books. There's the September. And then the September larger one that you can journal on. So you can see that the embellishment kits for each month are kind of similar. I would love to follow your lives to create layout projects, etc. Enjoy the process, not so much the creativity. No problem, Charlene. Yeah, it's no problem whatsoever. Sometimes I'll have like a solid plan, like a layout to follow, but most times for layouts, this is kind of what you get. But I'm always happy with the results, and I love doing sewing on pages. I've never done that on live because it would be very awkward. The sewing machine would be stuck right up underneath my camera, but I have had it to the side before. So I got to decide how I'm going. I wish it was cut this way, but maybe I'm going to cut it in 2 pieces. So how big is this? I said 10 by 10, right? So 4.5. I'm going to cut 2 4.5 pieces. I believe this was a little piece left over. And I don't tend to create well, I have one more album, 12 by 12 album that I can fit in where my albums go. And that's kind of what took me to the mini album creating, because I just didn't have the space. My husband and I, we downsized like big time 6 years ago now. So our space is extremely limited. I don't know what I'll do if I ever get grandbabies. Well, I guess I'll make them and give them to their parents. But I love making layouts. I still do. I love making them. It's just where do I put them? So I do have another album, and I can still keep making them, even though I don't do anything with them. I can put them in a tub, I suppose, and have a album all ready to go for when any particular surprises come along. I'm thinking I want to put something along there. I'm just looking over at. If I had been smart, I would have cut a strip off of that before I cut it down. I definitely have a heavy right side of the brain personality. They say left side of the brain is your rationalization kind of academic side of your brain, where the right side of your brain is more the creative part. And I just love creating. So if I could pick one side of my brain to exercise more, it definitely would be the right side. And I keep saying I can't wait until I retire so I can do this for my work. But I know it's never that way. Something else pops up in your life. So here's that dot. And on my YouTube, Charlene, there are other videos, and I didn't do the process of making them online, but I've done a lot of walkthroughs of different albums that I have done, if you want some creative juices, which the world is full of that, right? Pinterest and um, YouTube. There's I always said the one great thing with COVID is that it has exploded that part of our world, and it's made everything so accessible. Like, who would ever think that you'd be able to take a class from Tim Holtz on a random Saturday? But now he does free classes, so it's awesome. Oh, that's sweet, Charlene, that you've been on my channel. I love that. I used to own a store, and it was called Attic Inspire Crafter. So that's how the YouTube channel started way back when. And I just haven't taken it down, even though I don't have a store anymore, because I just like putting my work there. It's almost like a little bit of my crafting legacy, right? As long as YouTube doesn't take its stuff down, it should be good. I'm going to use this photo frame, and I just put the tape in the center in case I want to tuck, which I probably will. And now I do have an opportunity up here for another photo frame. So sometimes I make it so that, you know, if you have to trim a little bit off your photo, so be it. It may not be a traditional photo spot, or they can use it for a journaling spot. Yeah, and I'm no professional on YouTube, that's for sure. Or on here. I do my best. My life documented. I like that red. So that come out of my extra pile. I don't know which month that was from, but that's over here somewhere. And I do like to stick in these ones. I don't know if I did it for every month. I know I've done it for most of the months. Maybe I'm going to tuck that in there. See, now I put that strip down because I felt like it needed to go there. Now I'm covering it all up, but that's just the way it goes. Suppose I don't have to cover it all the way up. I could leave a piece of it showing. So I'm going to put some foam tape. Love the rolls of tape. I go through a lot of rolls of tape. I find it's actually more economical to use the rolls than the little squares if I'm using like big pieces like this, or I need to lay down big pieces. What's your guys' favorite adhesive? I have foam, I have liquid, I have this old Scotch gun, ATG gun. I actually have a new one up in my cupboard that I won many, many years ago, but this one is still holding in. It's becoming harder and harder to get the tape for it, though. The last time I got tape, it was, I think I just Googled it, and it was some stationery company. There. And we have two of these fun paper clips. And I think I'm going to pull out my little, speaking of Tim Holtz, my little tiny attacher, my little stapler. and just staple it to the top so that it can still flip up for the picture. So it's just like that. And I think I'm going to do another one down here for this one. That's fun. Yeah, that. So there's something really fun about just sitting with your stuff and laying pieces down and not having a before plan. And I love these books. So I think I'm going to pop these up here, but I'm not going to put anything down here. So I kind of just like to put kind of a pencil mark for where it's safe for me to put some pop squares. And here I will use pop squares. Yeah, I have all the adhesive. Every side of a little square you can possibly get. My favorite wet glue is the, I know I'm not going to remember, I never remembered. It's in the, you can't get it shipped in the winter. Art glitter glue. There, I did remember. That is a very nice glue. I like that it's not so thick. And it really, really sticks down well. Oh, I didn't stick this one down. So I like that. I also, there's a few other ones that I like. Okay, you have to be careful because I don't want to put the sticky stuff. I want it to be able to lift up for the picture. And then that there, you can still slide a photo under here. Nice. And right under here, so that's good. This one's coming together nicely too. Oh, and I love these pencils. Look at these pencils. Well, they kind of just feel like they need to come down here. Maybe one up top and two down here. And I'm going to put some adhesive on these. I have the skinny foam tape. I inherited some different brands of adhesive. My friend had passed away and she was a lovely scrapbooker as well. And before she passed away, I visited, so she sent me home with a massive load of items. So I went through it, and my girlfriend that I scrapbook with here was also good friends with her. She went through it, and so I took a lot of the adhesive. So that's why if you ever see me using a different looking adhesive, it came from that stash. So I'll use it until it's gone. And I think of her every time I pull it out. I think this tiny roll came from her, actually. What's on your agenda for the rest of the day? After we're done here, anything fun? I'm going to continue creating, I think. I might go outside for a little bit. It is so lovely out. Maybe I'll put this one crossways. Well, this is coming together. The daily grind. Just like building. So like anybody who likes clusters, like this to me is a little cluster. So we have this tag, and you can go in and put some twine around there if you want to. It is a beautiful day here too, Charlene. I popped up the pencils. I popped up this, the daily grind. Well, I kind of got that though, my life documented. So maybe the daily grind doesn't have to go anywhere. The September, I think, is really too large for my page. Unless I put it there like that, but then it kind of blends in with the background. So I think I'm going to leave the September off. We have September on the little calendar, so that's good. Family barbecue and maybe a swim for the end of the summer. Absolutely, Linda. Our time is limited. So Charlene wants to know where you're from in Ontario, Linda. I'm just going to look through my little stash to see if anything else jumps out at me. I feel like I want to tuck something in here. And it's blue. It's a dark blue. I'm going to look through my stash here. We have this little one with the cameras. Don't really need anything down there. Sometimes it's like white space, like black space. I feel like it all has to be covered, but really you don't need to cover it all. We should be okay with leaving a little bit of blank space. You're from Guelph. Got a couple more little flowers in this bag. And also put them to the side, and I'll put them in the calendars so that we don't lose them. And you're from Brampton. My first time visiting, well, visiting Ontario, I've been at the Toronto airport a number of times, but was last year. So my work actually extends into Ontario, and I had an opportunity to go there for work. So, and it just happened to be, so those of you that weren't in London, hi, Naz. Sorry, that were not in Woodstock for Unique's grand opening of their new store last year. It just so happened that my work lined up with their grand opening perfectly. So I took vacation and I surprised Heather and Dan, and at that time Diane was on the design team, and Betty, and I showed up at the store during grand opening and spent the week there. Just being at the store, helping them unpack, or at least I say helping. I might have been a hindrance, but just having fun and meeting a lot of you guys. So that was a highlight, and I really want to go back ever since. But again, it's how do you find that time and that balance between work? And if there's ever an opportunity where I can combine work, because the benefit of that is my flight was paid for. So I didn't have to worry about that. I just had to get from Toronto to Woodstock. And a friend I work with, she drove me, so that was perfect. I think I'm happy with this one too. So at this stage, let's put them together. And yes, I still have scraps, so I'm just going to take these and put them all in a bag, along with some other scraps that I've been collecting. And like I said, at the end, I will figure out where they're going to go, either on the calendar side. There'd be opportunity for cards for sure. But to be quite honest, after working with this paper for a year, I'm thinking that it will be donated, whatever's left over. And put the day, like I'm going to leave those flowers out though. So I have actually two little packets. And not all of these are scraps. So in that paper line, you also get the two 12 by 12 sheets that have these on there, like one for each month. And then there was another 12 by 12 sheet of cut aparts or little items like this. So like you can pull from this stuff as well. My very last page, I'm not going to have a black background. So it's going to be on the page as a finale. So I might be able to pull in a lot of these pieces. Thanks, Linda. Yeah, it is great for first day of school. Okay, so let's get them in our album. See, I keep calling it an album. I am so sorry. Let's get it in our calendar. And for that, I use the double-sided adhesive because we go through all this trouble to make these wonderful projects. I don't want them coming off. And I'm generous with my tape. I got a couple of the great big rolls during one of the auctions, which are great for die cutting small pieces. You just line them up on the back side of your paper, and when you die cut, your adhesive is already stuck to it, especially for sentiments. I tell you, I wish someone was around to have done this for me when my kids were young. I never got into scrapbooking until they were in grade 5. I have twins. So when they hit grade 5 and they becoming more independent, I decided now was the time. I kind of heard about it and seen a smidgen of it, but I wouldn't let myself dive in until I knew I could dedicate some solid time. But when I did, holy moly. So this, I'm going to have to take this like this, I think. So our August one. Yeah, and I started with Close to My Heart because I worked with someone who sold it. And my daughter and I used to do projects, and they were very systematic with their inks and their papers and all of that. So it made it very organized. I'm just going to see where I laid my previous one down. So as I've said before, I, on purpose, do not place my black pages in the exact same spot as the month before, because I know there'd be no way, unless I counted dots, as to how far away, and then it would look like it was a mistake. We can also do stuff like this with our scraps when we have space. So I make sure now I offset them differently each month. And I think it helps with the stability of the calendar as well. So you see, there's lots of space here. When we're all done, I can take some of that leftover paper and fit it in there. March, April, May, June, July. There was my July, so it's kind of to the right. So that means August, I can put it in the center. Or not center, but kind of in the center. August. Love that. And these are all in Create, all these little background stamps. So I look at the paper that I've selected, and then I go into my archival inks, and I pull out similar ink colors to the papers that I'm using. Now you could use the same ink colors for every month if you did something like this, because all the paper matches. But I do pick a little bit of difference. And this is September. Now I'll go over this way. I'll go more to the left. Boy, we were fast today. Like I said, it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes I'm taking an hour to do one page because I can't just make up my mind, but I think it's been so long since I did anything, it was kind of easy to get back in the groove. And we have all kinds of space down here and up the side. Yeah, we'll be able to use up those scraps very nicely. And I may not put that part online, but just to kind of show you. But if you decide to put your layout right on the paper, you go for it. You can just make your pieces larger if you want, or if you decide to create a base. I do find the black base kind of pops the colors because a lot of the colors are similar. So I do like it, but even if you did like a white solid mat for your background or black, then go for it. So I'm going to go back to, I think I'm going to use this little, had an apple, so I pulled that off of the set. But maybe I'll put this little heart down here too. But I want to go back to August and put some of these flowers down. Just kind of all over the place. So we have lots of opportunity. I'm going to put one there. Angle one off of number 4. Make a little cluster somewheres. Well, if nothing else, I hope you guys grab some ideas for your own masterpieces. Oh, there is another little heart here. All kinds of little flowers. Because August is all about the flowers. If any of you are gardeners out there or love flowers, go ahead and friend me if you like. I've kind of, every day I post something new in the garden. And that's kind of how I get my creative release in the summertime. It's through the garden. And I love it. I'm looking at my potted plants, though, and they're starting to get tired. Well, guys, this is our 2 pages for August and September. And this video went so well, I think I will combine the last 3 into one session, so watch for that. It might happen it will happen either in October or November. Definitely no later than probably the middle of November. I'll try to get it in for October just to wrap up this year-long project so that we can focus on Christmas and start using our new stuff and all that goodness. So I hope to see you on the live tomorrow night for the buying of the 12 by 12 paper stash. You know, if you haven't heard about that, Heather made an announcement or did a small video on her live at 5 on Friday. So you can go back there and watch it. But there's going to be some fabulous, fabulous bargains to be had. Thank you, Charlene, Linda, and everybody else that's watching. It was a great chatting with you, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.